The sun hung low over Willow Creek, a sleepy suburb where the air smelled of fresh-cut grass and the sidewalks glowed gold in the late afternoon light. It was one of those rare Saturdays when the world felt like it was holding its breath, exhaling only in the laughter of kids and the lazy hum of bees over blooming azaleas. Ethan, my 10-year-old grandson, tore across the cul-de-sac barefoot, his soccer ball dancing at his feet like it was part of him. His messy brown hair bounced, and his arms flailed just a bit, as if he were half running, half flying, lost in that pure, kid-like focus where nothing exists but the ball and the pavement. I sat on the porch steps, a cold lemonade sweating in my hand, watching him and thinking how lucky we were. Willow Creek was a bubble, a quiet corner untouched by the chaos that seemed to gnaw at the world beyond. Neighbors waved, dogs barked happily, and the maples cast dappled shadows that made everything feel safe, almost sacred. But then, like a needle scratching across a record, the mood shattered. A low, guttural engine growled from the main road, pulling every eye away from the sunlight. A black SUV, boxy and menacing, with tinted windows so dark they swallowed the light, rolled onto our street. No plates, no tags, just a slab of matte steel gliding like a predator. My neighbor Sarah froze mid-conversation. Her husband, Tom, squinted from his lawn chair, and Ethan, sweet, oblivious Ethan, paused, clutching his ball to his chest. The SUV stopped dead in the street, silent as a held breath. Then the doors swung open in perfect sync. Two men stepped out, dressed in dark, tactical gear, not police, but something worse, something performative. Black cargo pants, black boots, tight shirts under vests that screamed bulletproof cosplay. Bold white patches on their chests read, HOA Compliance Patrol. It was laughable, except it wasn't. The taller one, lean and wiry with buzzed hair and mirrored shades, pointed at Ethan like he was locking onto a target. You! He barked. Soccer's banned on this street. HOA Rule 17C. Ethan blinked, confused. Huh! Don't play dumb, kid! The other snapped, a stocky man with a limp that seemed half real, half theatrical. You're damaging community property. Ethan glanced at the ball, then back at them. But I'm just playing in front of our house. That's the problem. The wiry one growled, stepping closer. This isn't your property. Sidewalks belong to the HOA. I stood, my voice firm. That's enough. They turned to me like I'd interrupted their big scene in a low-budget action flick. The stocky one puffed out his chest. Sir, unless you're the property liaison, step aside, he said. Advyse. Like it was an order, like he had the right. We live here, I said. There's no rule against a kid playing soccer. The wiry one pulled a tablet from his belt. Want a fine for obstruction? Ethan edged back toward the lawn, uncertain, his eyes darting to the porch. That's when the chair creaked. My grandfather, Ethan's great-grandfather, rose to his feet. Until that moment, he'd been in VY Cybele, just an old man in a faded blue cap and a worn jacket, sipping coffee, blending into the afternoon. He'd watched everything, silent still. But now he spoke. Ethan, he said, his voice calm but heavy, like a stone dropping into a pond. Come sit by me. Ethan didn't hesitate, jogging to the porch and settling beside him, ball still clutched tight. The wiry man sneered. This isn't your concern, old man. We're enforcing compliance. Grandfather, everyone called him, Pops slowly removed his cap, revealing faint scars along his temple, thin as whispers, in VY Cybele unless you knew to look. Those weren't from accidents. They were from a war most never heard of, a life of hunting shadows. He fixed them with a stare that didn't blink, trained to spot lies in jungles, to end threats before they took root. Those patches aren't HOA, Pops said evenly. Neither are your names. Neither is that vehicle. The stocky man scoffed. You got no idea who you're dealing with. Pops didn't answer. He stepped off the porch, gravel crunching under his boots like a warning. The wiry one barked. You can't let your brat break rules. The word brat hit like a slap, souring the air. Neighbors, now gathered, exchanged uneasy glances, but no one moved until Pops did. One moment, he was still as an oak. The next, he was between Ethan and the men, a wall no one saw coming. "You're not HOA," he said, each word carved from certainty. "You're not on any registry." The wiry one forced a laugh, brittle and fake. "What, you googling us, Grandpa?" But Pops didn't flinch. The stocky one lunged forward. "We'll confiscate that ball as Ivy Denke." His hand shot toward Ethan, who shrank back, ball tight to his chest. Pop's cane, always there, always dismissed as a sign of age, snapped up like lightning. The steel tip cracked against the man's wrist with a sound like breaking wood. He screamed, a grown man, 200 pounds, stumbling back, clutching his arm. The wiry one reached for something at his hip, pepper spray, a stun gun, maybe worse. Didn't matter. Pops pivoted, fluid as water, hooking the cane's curved handle around the man's ankle and yanking. The man went down, face first into the lawn, with a thud that punched the air from his lungs. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Sarah had her phone out, recording. Tom stood frozen, hose dripping in his hand. "Is this real?" someone whispered. Pops wasn't done. He knelt beside the stocky man, still groaning, and patted down his vest with chilling calm, like he'd done this 1,000 times. He pulled a badge sheet, plastic, silver flaking, HOA enforcement, in a joke font. Then a wallet, no real ID, just an out-of-state license and cash. "Frauds," Pops said to the crowd. "Sloppy ones." From a hidden pocket in his jacket, he produced zip ties, thin and black. The stocky man squirmed, whimpering. "This is assault. I have rights." Pops didn't blink. "I was a shadow tracker for NATO," he said, voice low. "I hunted men who hunted others. You're loud, bad prey." He bound the man's wrists with a sharp snick. The wiry one, still in the grass, gasped. "We'll sue. This is a civil rights violation." Pops tied his ankles. "Funny. You didn't care about our rights when you rolled in here." Neighbors clapped, not loud, but real. Phones multiplied. "I'm sending this to the news," someone whispered. "The HOA board needs to see this," another added. Ethan watched from the porch, eyes wide, not scared but awestruck. Then chaos erupted. The stocky man, with a guttural yell, twisted violently, snapping his zip tire, dislocating something to slip free. He bolted, wild-eyed, blood on his nose, running like prey, boots slapping the pavement. "Hey!" someone shouted, but he was fast, adrenaline-fueled, aiming for the corner. Pops didn't yell. He bent down, calm as ever, and picked up Ethan's soccer ball. He stepped forward, cocked his arm, and threw. The ball didn't just fly, it screamed, spinning in a vicious arc, slicing the air. It struck the man square between the shoulders, hard. He stumbled mid-stride, feet levying the ground, and crashed over a trash bin, landing flat on his back with a plasticky thud, groaning, dazed. Cheers exploded. "No way!" someone yelled. "He threw that ball?" Tom, phone still up, shouted. "This is going to Channel 5. Pops walked to the crumpled man, voice neutral. "You okay?" The man nodded weakly. "Wasn't aiming for your head," Pops said. "Count your blessings." He turned to the wiry one, still bound, still defiant. "You're done," the man sputtered. "This is illegal." Pops cut him off. "You have the right to stay silent." Then, with the ease of lifting a bag of groceries, Pops hoisted the wiry man and carried him to the street lamp. He pulled more zip ties from his jacket, securing the man to the pole, chest, wrists, ankles like a trophy of bad choices. "Help!" the man screamed, but no one moved. Neighbors watched, some filming, some silent, all united. They saw a bully, not a VY Tim. Ethan tugged my sleeve. "Was that Pops?" I nodded. "He threw that ball like a weapon." "He's thrown worse," I said. "That was restraint." Sirens wailed 10 minutes later, blue and red lights flooding the street. Officer Malone, a bear of a man with a mustache like a steel brush, stepped out, scanning the scene: the overturned bin, the man on the lawn, the other tied to the lamp, and Pops, calm as a general after a won battle. "Colonel Reed?" Malone asked. Pops nodded. "Retired." Malone's nod was sharp, respectful. "We've had calls about these too," he said. "Fake violations, extortion, targeting the elderly. Slipped us every time." He glanced at Pops. "No one stopped them like this." Pops shrugged. "Wrong street." More cruisers arrived. Officers catalogued fake badges, vests, a tablet of forged citations, even checks from scared homeowners. It was a full-blown scam, spanning counties, preying on the vulnerable. Ethan's shaky phone footage hit social media before the police left. By nightfall, it was viral. Saw Grandpa takes down fake HOA cops saw. The clip of Pop's soccer ball throw frozen midair, his face pure focus spawned memes. One added flames to the ball, another, missile trails. The HOA board issued a statement: no affiliation with the imposters, full policy overhaul, and praise for Colonel Reed's bravery. Neighbors brought pies, cards, even bourbon. Ethan became a school legend, sporting a zip-tie justice t-shirt. That night, I found Pops on the porch, coffee in hand, staring into the distance. "You okay?" I asked. He nodded. "Wasn't my first time. Hope it's the last." His eyes were watchful, still guarding us from shadows we couldn't see. "Thanks," I said. He looked at me. "No one threatens family. That's not heroism. That's duty." Days later, a plaque appeared at the street lamp. Saw here stood the fake until truth tied him down saw. Below, in yellow spray paint, saw Pop's justice saw. No one erased it. The street changed, quieter, stronger, united. Ethan played soccer again, fiercer now, carrying a piece of Pop's fire. One evening he asked, "Did Pops really hunt people?" I nodded. "The ones who hunted others." Ethan clutched the ball. "Will people forget?" "Not if you remember," I said. And in his eyes I saw the real monument, not the plaque, but a boy who never forget the man who stood up, who showed a neighborhood what courage looks like when it wears a quiet face and throws a ball like a weapon.